So, how much do you hate doing your taxes? Well, unlike some people, I actually don't mind doing the number side of my business. So, I recently managed to catch up with my finances. The financial year runs a little bit differently here in the UK, so I'm only a few months behind. Usually, because I don't mind numbers, I would be up to date. So, I would do my accounts at the end of every month. However, I had a baby, things all went a bit awry, and so recently I did the last 6 months worth all in one go, and I was quite interested by what I found. So I thought that I would share it with all of you to see how it compares to your small business, or if you're thinking of starting a small business, what you think of it, whether it inspires you to have a go or makes you think, oh no. I'd be interested to hear in the comments what you think. So let's jump in. So just a little bit of background for context. The UK financial year runs April to April. So it's a little bit different to a lot of countries that run by the actual year, so January to December. Before this financial year, Elimee Designs had been trading for 6 months, so this year doesn't exactly start me off from zero. And at the start of this financial year, I already had 5 crochet patterns on sale, and I was only selling on Ravelry. And just for your interest, I have highlighted my 2 best-selling patterns at that time. So that's the Caitlin zigzag blanket that you can see at the top of the screen and the Waggle Dance bee blanket. So I chose to make a lot of changes to my business during the financial year. Now, I don't think that this is very unexpected. I am a small business. I'm very new to running my own business. Therefore, constant change, I think, is fairly expected. The first thing that I did was try to increase my number of revenue sources by adding my patterns to Etsy. Now, Etsy is a very different marketplace to Ravelry. Ravelry is strictly patterns, whereas Etsy, as I'm sure a lot of you know, is pretty much anything that's handmade. It's a very different audience, which means potentially I'd be attracting different types of customers. And the idea behind me joining Etsy is that they, allegedly at least, do a lot of the marketing for you. So hopefully it would be a little bit more passive than selling on Ravelry. One of the other things that I did was make my own YouTube channel. So I established my first video blog in August of last year, just as a monthly sort of catch up with my audience to show you what I was working on, what was coming up, things that I was developing, but equally things I was making that other people had designed, just to show you what was going on behind the scenes. And later in the year, probably the biggest thing I did last year was to join the Crochetpreneur Business Academy. So this is a huge online course and community that is dedicated to helping crochet pattern designers and makers to succeed. So there is the standard level of the CBA, which is a series of online courses that you can do in your own time. Equally, with the VIP access, which is what I have, you have a number of live events every month. So you get Q&As with an expert in the field. You get masterclasses by people who really know what they're talking about. You get sip and stitches. You get group coaching. You get so many opportunities to really hone down on what is causing your business to have problems and how to fix it. In essence, to help your business succeed as quickly as possible. Partly off of the back of that, I finally launched my own email newsletter. Now, my email newsletter is so important, as I have learnt, as it is the only place where I own my list of customers. So any social media platform such as Facebook or Instagram, rightly or wrongly, could turn around tomorrow and go, no, you've broken a rule, we're banning you, we're kicking you off. And then I would completely lose access to all of my audience on that platform. However, assuming that they're on my mailing list, I could quickly send out an email to all of them going, look, this is what's happened. This is where I am now. Please come join me. And hopefully that would help to overcome any obstacles caused elsewhere in the business. I also launched my first ever cowl. So that was for my festive higgy blanket. For those of you who don't know, a cowl is a crochet along. It's a community event and incredibly fun to both participate in and organise. So I managed to release the pattern over a series of weeks to engage with my community. We had a little giveaway. It was just a lot of fun to do. So much so that I am running another cowl this winter, only this time in November. One of the other things that I did was to start a blog on my very own website. So the Cal that I was running is actually the first ever post that I put on my website. So I was super excited to do that. It's another way to have your audience find you, to give them value, to show them what you're working on, just to connect. One of my favorite things that I did last year was to join a co-working group. So I managed to find a co-working group where all of the businesses involved are crochet related. Most of us are designers, but not all, and they're such an amazing group. They help to support me. They're a great soundboard for bouncing ideas off of. They give me ideas and support when I'm struggling. They're just a fabulous group to be a part of. One of the last things I did that year was to join Love Crafts. So I figured, seeing as I buy a lot of my supplies from them, it would be a great place to sell my patterns too. Again, it's another different audience. I imagine, I don't know for sure, that more of my customers on there are UK based, but I could be wrong. But again, it's another potential revenue stream. In January, I made myself some new goals for the year. So my general goal for 2023 was to try new things, to experiment, and to try and grow my audience. So it's less about earning money per se, although that is always great, that helps keep my business going, but more about connecting with the community and getting people to know that I exist. So the first thing that I did to that end was to join a blog hop. Now, for those of you who don't know, on a blog hop, every day through the duration of the blog hop, a different designer gives you a pattern. Now, sometimes they're free, sometimes they're discounted. It varies depending on the event, but they're a lot of fun. And I have, I think, taken part in 4 now. Definitely something to have a go with if you're interested in being a successful pattern designer. One of the other things that I did to try and reach more people was to join collaborative CALs. So that means that multiple designers come together to design one overall pattern. Now, I've taken part in 2 or 3, I think, so far this year. All of them were blanket designs for which I designed a square. And again, a lot of fun. You connect with a lot of new people. And so another great opportunity. The next thing that I did was to launch a completely free pattern for the first time ever. Now, I have given free patterns as giveaways during blog hops. I have a free pattern. I say free. I have a pattern that is free to my Facebook group members with a discount code. This was the first pattern I ever did that was 100% free. So you didn't have to join anything. You didn't have to sign up for anything. It's just there and it's all yours. So that was my way of giving back to my community. So over the course of the last financial year, I managed to release 12 crochet patterns. I was a little bit taken aback when I realised quite how many I had released, and I'm super proud of every single one of them. I think the one that was most fun to release was my festive higgy blanket, purely because it was released as a crochet along. But one of the ones that I'm most proud of, I think, is my So Extra blanket. So that's the Easter themed blanket that you can see part of at the bottom of the screen. Mostly because it was supposed to be released for Easter 2022, but yeah, for various reasons that I take lots of responsibility for, it didn't get released until 2023 because I just ran out of time to crochet the sample in time for it to be released. So, not everything goes as you expect. It's all swings and roundabouts when you're running your own business. Moving on to the nitty-gritty, to the money side of my business. Now, here I have my income broken down by platform in terms of where I was making pattern sales. So I've got Ravelry, which is the top line, Etsy is the middle line, and Lovecrafts is the bottom line. Now, the order of those lines is not unexpected. It also reflects how long I've been on each of those platforms. Equally, as you can see, my crochet patterns, as with a lot of designers, tend to sell better during the autumn and winter months. Now, this is really common because a lot of our patterns are large or very warm, and therefore people don't want to crochet them when they're hot and sweaty in the middle of the summer months. You do, however, find that designers who go for smaller items or things that are less seasonal, so things like amigurumi designers, tend to have a more stable income across the year. So this seasonality in income is highlighted even more in this graph, which shows the combined pattern sales across all of the platforms. You can see sales start to take off in September and sort of dip down quite heavily in February, and then the rest of the year is not quite so great. So almost all of my income for that financial year was via pattern sales. Even my, excuse me if you can hear the baby, one other pattern sale, which was basically a direct sale to a friend, accounts for the majority of my income. The only other bit of income I had was from one of the blog hops that I took part in first. That isn't all of the money I made from that one particular blog hop. It just happens that the money came in across 2 financial years. My total income for the whole year, and I'm super proud of this, was £687.49. Now, that might not sound like a lot to some self-employed people or to other designers. However, I do this business around my day job. It's my side hustle. I'm still very new. I have a very small audience. I'm still finding my feet and trying to build various revenue streams. And so I'm really proud of myself because it's heading in the right direction. Whilst it might not be going up month on month, because as I've shown, my pattern sales are quite seasonal, overall, it's heading in the right direction. Now, interestingly, my expenses for the year were actually slightly more than my income. Now, obviously, that's not great for a business. However, I had my day job income to fall back on. The reason I'm not worried about this in terms of, oh no, it's a sinking ship, bail out, is because I was using the money to invest in the foundations of my business to try and ensure greater future success. So the one biggest thing that I paid for last year was my VIP level membership to the Crochetpreneur Business Academy. Now, you pay for your membership across a year. At the end of that 1 year membership, you can either renew your VIP membership or you can downgrade to the standard level. Now, the standard level is available with lifetime access. So even if I stopped paying completely, I would have access to those online modules forever. So really helpful in my opinion. Other things that were bigger expenses, aside from, yarn, we're buying some new equipment to help with filming. As I mentioned before, I started my own YouTube channel. Some of the things that I purchased include some lights and a stand to hold my phone when I am filming. Also, because I launched a blog and an email list, I pay a monthly subscription for my email subscription service. I have to obviously pay for my domain and my hosting of my website. So those are ongoing regular costs. So what do you think? I know I'm still very new. I'm still fairly small. I'm very proud of the success that I've had. But does it compare to your business? Or has it inspired you to start a business? Or have you just found this really interesting? Drop me a comment below to let me know. Until the next video, bye-bye.